Okay, so you premiered the first episode at the panel, and we got to see Lotor in action for the first time, and he actually had, women in his crew helping out, and I was wondering, he used to have a harem in the original series. Is this kind of a nod and turning that on its head?
In Beast King Go On.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't, but I like that, so I might just use that.
Might have been a subconscious thing.
Maybe. I think, we were just really kind of looking for ways to make Lotor different, and we really hadn't had a lot of female Gara in the first season, and we'd originally started with this idea that, Lotor was going to have, many ranks of female Gara, but we ended up whittling it down to, these, key 4 women that were just, his main go-tos, and we just want to make them as cool, interesting as possible, and just, really make that, comparison or contrast between Lotor and Zarkon is stark.
Yeah. I think we had initially talked about, all right, Zarkon was a no woman policy, and then Lotor, but then that got a little too weird.
We didn't go full on. There are other female ones.
There are, for official, just so you guys know.
Well, we can go wise. So in the premiere, I was actually looking at the design and the animation and the flow of his hair. He reminds me a lot of Legolas, in a way.
Or does Legolas remind you a lot of Lotor?
That's true. So, I guess what's behind the thought process of the way that his character moves, at least in the fight scene?
That fight scene in particular was handled by Ki-Hyun Ryu, who is a master animator. And I think he goes above and beyond. There was a lot of moves that you could see Lotor doing where he's just barely getting out of the way of things, and even his hair got cut at one point. So I think those are all sort of little nuances that Ryu brought to that fight scene in particular. But
the overall is just the Galar Empire is all about force and about strength. And with them, it's the bigger and the stronger you are, the better. And Lotor is very much not that. He's about intelligence and about, just using that.
Resistance,
think about it before you do it. Don't just force your way into it. And so, that was really kind of meant to be the visual representation of that.
It was personality. Because even at the end, he said these almost noble things to the crowd, and then when he turns to Narti, you're like, all right, where's this guy coming from? Is he kind of petty? Is he just getting this guy out of the way? You don't really know where he's coming from. But he's got a plan.
So tell us about the cat. And do we get to see a cat mouse fight?
We'll see.
That would
versus,
be I think that would be my dream come true. Would be to have the space mice versus the space cat. But it was kind of our little nod to the cat from the original. They originally belonged to Hagar. Hagar doesn't have a cat, so we're like, we can bring this cat in with this really unique character who has this tie to this animal that she has. And it was kind of a cool thing. It was what can we do to make these alien races different? Here's an alien race that bonds with an animal. What animal? How about this cat from the original that we can Easter egg in here?
Yeah. And it's it's kind of through Lotor, so it's not directly Hagar, but it's sort of through another Galra with cool flowing white hair.
You were talking kind of how Lotor is very different, and he's going path of least resistance and uses his mind a lot more and has a very different style. And we have Keith here, who's part on this scale, and he's also got the same kind of fighting style. Are we going to see Lotor kind of trying to pull people away? And obviously in the original he was very fixated on Allura.
Right.
Are we going to see him kind of trying to pull them away via using the mind more than the force that had been used in the previous seasons?
I think if ever there was a character, Lotor's the guy to use the psychology of the paladins against each other. And Keith is, I'd say right now, sort of in the polar opposite territory as Lotor. Lotor's methodical, and Keith right now is running purely on emotion.
But I think it's safe to say that we will see Lotor using more of his intelligence, reaching out more, having a little more vocal interaction versus just Zarkon, going. I'm not even going to talk to you, I'm just going to kill you.
Right. There will be cruel interactions.
Yes.
So in Voltron Legendary Defender, family has always been an integral plot, part of the story, part of the plot.
Yeah.
Well, we get to see how Lotor views his father, Zarkon.
I think that's it's a pretty important element to his character. I think you can't be the prince and sort of been out of the picture without, necessarily having some emotions tied with that. Yeah,
Because they did mention that he was exiled.
he was.
Earlier in the episode.
All that stuff plays into his character, where he comes from, his relatability even to the viewers. It's all tied in there.
So we got a little bit of a peek of some backstory in the sneak preview of the old paladins, Zarkon and Alfor and 3 other unknown paladins. How much backstory are we going to get of them, and going into the new paladins in the new season?
We definitely, you saw the imagery. You'll see backstory stuff. Exactly how much we won't. We don't want to give that away. But we were super excited, I think, to be able to tell the story, and then also when we came to the decision to show it here at the con, we knew, it's either people are going to go like, what was going on, and be a little confused, or immediately get it and see the correlation between the old paladins and the new ones. So yeah,
we're just excited.
We're just super excited.
Shed a little bit of light on that. We've known Zarkon, we've kind of known Alfor. The other 3 have always been kind of obscure.
And this is really the part of the story that I think we have been able to take almost the most liberties with in creating that backstory and that lore that wasn't necessarily there with the original. So that's super fun.
Now, I know previously you said that kind of season 1 and season 2 were basically one giant story that had been broken up. Is season 3 kind of season 3 and season 4 possibly going to be the same situation, or is season 3 kind of more its own contained?
It's kind of like the kickoff of Lotor's story. And Lotor, he won't end at the end of this season. We'll see a bit more of him as we go into the next season. So. I think it's safe to say this is us ramping into his arc.
Yeah, and these, these smaller drops, they are specifically done to not make people feel like they're, being left with months and months and months without the show, but also, I think it allows us to sort of give these little doses of these characters, but we didn't have the plan to do like 7 episodes and then stop that. That was done after the fact, so it's a big serialized story.
So the story's also gone into this point where it's kind of shifting the viewer's perspectives. Like, we know that the paladins are the heroes, and there are a couple of things that haven't been addressed so much, such as the Caraveras mission in the very beginning. Like, what were they even doing on the moon? So that's probably going to come into.
They were getting ice samples. They were just checking for signs of life.
Just ice samples. But going back to that and how they were captured originally, how did the Galra know of where they were? Like, why pick out those 3 specifically?
It's pretty safe to say that the Galra were actively searching for the Alliance of Voltron. I think Sam and Shiro and Matt were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, I'd love to tell you that the ice sample had some minute traces of they were literally just digging for ice.
Completely clueless.
I think what we were really trying to upsell there was that Earth was in a place where they hadn't had any contact with alien life yet. They were advanced. It's the future. They've been able to
advanced enough to get out to Pluto, but that was it. That was the farthest they'd gone, and they'd gone there the fastest they'd ever gone there. And so they were like, we're making leaps and strides, but they're nowhere near the prowess of the Galra, and most certainly not the Altaean.
Right. Sorry if we killed a potential
No, there's so much more in the show.
So what has been your favorite alien race of the series, or have we seen your favorite yet?
Oh, I think it's safe to say that mine might be the mermaids. But we've had a few that I'm really fond of. There's quite a number at the mall. That there's one that we like to call the Channing Tatum alien at the mall.
Have you seen him? He's got like the baseball hat on.
He's got baseball hat backwards. He's got he's
got like 2 mouths.
He's got 2 mouths, and he's just big and buff, and he's purple. I don't know, but he just looks so happy. We're like, he looks like Channing Tatum.
It looks like a happy Channing Tatum because he's like a fit dude.
He's just funny.
There's a cool cowboy alien there too.
Yeah.
I mean, technically the Blade of Marmora are Galra, but I'm super into Space Ninjas. Like, can't really go wrong. The fact that I think we added some depth to the Galra and made a faction within the ranks, fighting for good. That's pretty cool.